Good morning, Warriors. I'm Betty Washam, your host, and I'm back with some terrible news about Jeffrey Epstein and him killing himself by suicide or having a heart attack in his cell. We don't know exactly what's happened yet, but let's hear the report.
We are back with a Fox News alert. Jeffrey Epstein found dead in an apparent suicide. A gurney was sighted carrying a man who looked like Epstein out of the Manhattan Correctional Center around 7:30, headed to the New York downtown hospital. A call for reported cardiac arrest came in at 6:38, said a fire department source. 2 weeks ago, Epstein, who's 66 and deceased, was placed on suicide watch and was found nearly unconscious in a cell with injuries to his neck. The multimillionaire financier was being held without bail, pending trial for child sex trafficking charges. Jeffrey Epstein said.
We're now going to bring in Joel Murdoch, Fox News contributor and contributing editor, National Review Online. What do you make of this latest news?
I'm hearing about this for the first time, just as you are.
So it says, disgraced multimillionaire Jeffrey Epstein, who was accused of sex trafficking minors, died from an apparent suicide inside a Manhattan jail cell, and the FBI is investigating, the Federal Bureau of Prisons confirmed Saturday. The 66-year-old Epstein was found unresponsive inside his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York City around 6:30 a.m. Life-saving measures were initiated immediately by responding staff. He was transported to New York Presbyterian Lower Manhattan Hospital and was dead on arrival, officials say. Did they kill him or did they get him out? Law enforcement sources told Fox News that the initial call to the jail was cardiac arrest. Multiple reports claimed that he hung himself. The New York City Medical Examiner's Office told Fox News that an autopsy is pending to determine the cause of the death. The death comes 2 weeks after the 66-year-old was placed on suicide watch after he was found clearly or nearly unconscious in his cell with injuries to his neck. At the time, it was not clear whether the injuries were self-inflicted or from an assault. NBC News reported that Epstein was in his own cell at the time of his death and was no longer on suicide watch. Wonder why, Epstein was arrested on July 6 over the alleged sexual abuse of dozens of young girls in his Upper East Side townhouse and his waterfront mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, between 2002 and 2005, and many more years besides that. Epstein allegedly created and maintained a vast network in operation from 2002 up to and including at least 2005 that enabled him to sexually exploit and abuse dozens of underage girls, in addition to paying victims to recruit other girls. Prosecutors said that the victims would be escorted to a room with a massage table where they would perform massages on Epstein. Epstein, at the time arrest, prosecutors said they found a trove of pictures of nude, semi-nude women and girls at his $77 million Manhattan mansion. They also say additional victims have come forward since the arrest. He has pleaded not guilty and faces up to 45 years in prison if convicted. His death also comes a day after thousands of documents were unsealed Friday in connection with the defamation cause against his alleged recruiter that revealed dozens of high-profile names, including Maine Senator George Mitchell, ex-New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, and Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Yeah, they were all in it. Virginia Roberts Golub, who has long claimed Epstein forced her to have sex with powerful men, claimed in the lawsuit that Epstein and his associate, Gahalis Maxwell, kept her as a sex slave in the early 2000s when she was underage. Jewett claimed on the unsealed May 2016 deposition to have been trafficked to have sex with and provide erotic massages to powerful politicians, foreign leaders, and well-heeled businessmen. Her attorney, Brad Edwards, reacted to Epstein's apparent suicide on Saturday, telling Fox News it was unfortunate and predictable. The fact that Jeffrey Epstein was able to commit the selfish act of taking his own life as his world of abuse, exploitation, and corruption unraveled in both unfortunate and predictable, he said in a statement. While we are engaged in contentious legal battles for more than a decade, this is not the ending anyone was looking for. He continued, the victims deserve to see Epstein held accountable, and he owed it to everyone he hurt to accept responsibility for all the pain he caused. It is never too late to come forward with information. We will continue to represent his victims and will not stop in their pursuit of finality and justice. Epstein arrest drew national attention, particularly focused on a deal that allowed Epstein to plead guilty in 2008 to soliciting a minor for prostitution in Florida and avoid more serious federal charges. The federal prosecutors in New York reopened the probe after investigative reporting by the Miami Herald stirred outrage over the plea bargain. But his lawyer maintained that the new charges brought by the federal prosecutors in New York were covered by the deal and were improper. They said he hasn't had any illicit contact with girls since serving his 13-month sentence in Florida. Liars. That's what you get paid to do, is lie. High-profile attorney Lisa Bloom, who presents some of Epstein's accusers, tweeted Saturday that his death means a conscience of guilt. He was charged with only 2 counts, but he knew he was guilty, she wrote, and all his money would not prevent the inevitable conviction. He knew justice was coming, and he could not face it. Before his legal troubles, Epstein led a life of extraordinary luxury that drew powerful people into his orbit. He socialized with princes and presidents and lived on a 100-acre private island in the Caribbean and one of the biggest mansions in New York. A college dropout, he became a sought-after benefactor of professors and scientists, donating millions of dollars in donations to Harvard University and other causes. Still, it was never entirely clear how the middle-class Brooklyn math whiz became a Wall Street master of high finance. Epstein's death is likely to raise questions about how the Bureau of Prisons ensures the welfare of high-profile inmates. In October, Boston gangster James Whitey Burglar was killed in federal prison in West Virginia, where he had just been transferred. The Justice Department and the Federal Bureau of Prisons did not immediately respond to requests for comment on Saturday. Fox News' Robert Giddy, Jake Gibson, Brooke Singman, Travis Filchin, and Associated Press contributed to this report. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. He knew he was guilty, and he knows all these other people are guilty. But the point was, and just like he said right down here, why was he able to kill himself? Why was he able to kill himself? Right here. And this inmate right here in October. Why was this Boston gangster able to get killed in federal prison? That's the question everybody needs to be asked. Or is he not dead, faked his death, and he's out running the town? Who knows? We'll probably never know. Until next time, I'm Betty Washam, your host, and I pray that whoever else is involved that's alive does not get a free card by getting killed or killing themselves. I'm out.